Hi friends, welcome back to MANA VELUGU TV education. Now we will discuss about lesson is inventions and discoveries. Inventions and discoveries. Now start. We know that primitive man used to make stone implements. He broke a stone into two elves and used the sharp edges as knives. Later, early man happened to invent the wheel. The wheel was the most important invention in the history of mankind. Initially, man used stones, and bones to make tools and utensils. Copper was discovered by chance. With the discovery of copper, man began to make tools and utensils with that metal. A few thousands years later, man discovered iron. He found that iron was strong and hard. He began to make tools like axes, plows, and knives using iron. Cutting down trees and hunting animals became eraser. Gradually, man became carpenters, ironsmiths, farmers, hunters, and potters. Next, steam engine. In 1769, James Watt invented the steam engine. This important invention marked the beginning of a new era. Steam engine became a basic machine. Beside on this invention, many more machines were invented in a short time. The invention of steam engine powered the way for the invention of railway engine. In 1825, George Stephenson invented the railway engine. Steam engines were used to ply ships on ice seas. Later on, petrol and diesel engines were used. This resulted in the invention of cars, buses, trucks, and other powerful means of transport. Next one is printing machine. Printing machine. It took several countries to develop the art of writing. Books were written by odd. Many scholars were involved in preparing the odd written copies of rare books. Such books were costly. The way to learn those books was to spend a long period of time in centuries of learning. China was the first country to develop the art of printing, but it was in Germany that the first printing press was made. In the year 1443, John Gutenberg printed the first book in his press. The Bible was the first even books printed. It was printed on sheepskin and not on paper. Today, advanced printing technology is used all over the world. Next one is telegraph. More than 150 years ago, Samuel Morse invented the telegraph machine. The telegraphic method was invented to send and receive urgent messages. It uses a coded language of dots and dashes. The instrument is called Morse key. Later on, invention of teleprinter proved useful in sending the telegrams much faster. It could send messages more efficiently than the telegraphic machine. Smartphones, emails, and SMS seems to have pushed the humble telegram service to a quiet corner, with the national deciding to discontinue the 160 years old telegraph service from July 15th, 2013 once the main sources of quick and urgent communication. The service delivered many happy and sad news to people spread all over the country. Next one is telephone. Telephone has become the fastest and most common means of communication. It was invented in 1876 by Alexander Graham Bell. We can talk to anyone in any place in India using STD facility. ISD facility enables us to talk to people in other countries. Mobile phones, which are common now, can be carried anywhere. Next one is radio. In 1896, an Italian scientist named Marconi invented the radio. Unlike the telegraph, radios do not have to be connected by wires or cables. Actually, mass communication came with the invention of radio. We can listen to music, talks, plays, and the news on the radio while we sit at home. We can also hear running commentaries on events like cricket matches, talking places in far off places. Radio is very helpful to farmers and fishermen. It gives weather forecast and hearing about cyclones, floods, etc. The radio is a very useful medium for the upliftment of mankind. Moral teachings, education programs, scientific information, legal and medical advice, and entertainment programs are broadcast through this medium of communication. Next one is television. Television was invented by John Lego Berard in 1922. 1922, the electronic system came into use of after 1930. 1930, now we have a number of television centers throughout our country. Television is the most modern means of communication. Through television, we can not only listen to but also see what is happening in different parts of the world. Next one, satellites. Man spent the first artificial satellite into space on 4th October 1957. It was named Sputnik, meaning small moon. Today, there are more than 4,000 artificial satellites orbiting the Earth. Satellites are sent into space with the help of rockets. They stay in their orbits for long periods. They travel around the Earth at the same speed at which the Earth rotates, so that they remain in space over the same place on the Earth. Satellites carry valuable machines which help us to send and receive messages and pictures from all over the world. Next one is electricity. In Netherlands, a man used to make and sell a toy called a London jar. This toy had wires, one in a glass and the other outside it. The two wires, when connected, produced sparks. Sometimes it produced mild shock instead of sparks. An American scientist called Benjamin Franklin came to know about the London jars, he kept on thinking about it. He used to observe lightning in the sky with much interest. The sparks of the toy and the flashes of lightning were more or less similar. He tried an experiment to find this out. After the discovery of electricity, scientists got Bush in finding ways and means to produce electricity. In 1880, an Italian scientist named Volta made a battery which could produce a small amount of electricity. Today, electricity has become a part and parcel of our life. Electricity is used in almost everything: lights, fans, radios, televisions, refrigerators, and air conditions work on electricity. Most of the trains in big cities run on electricity. Next one, sources of energy: coal, oil, wood, natural gas, and electricity are the sources of energy. All these sources are limited. Man continuous is search for new sources of energy. Scientists are making attempts to tap winds power, water power, and solar power. Another advantage of such energy is that it is clean and does not pollute the atmosphere like minerals, oil, and coal do. Next one is the computer. Charles Babbage, a British scientist, invented the analytical engine. It had all the features of a modern computer. So he is called the father of computer. From then on, man has made great progress. Today we have the fifth generation computers and supercomputers. Today there are computers in every sphere of activity: at home, in schools, industries, hotels, banks, railways, stations, and airports. At home, the computer provides a number of interesting and intelligent game. Nowadays, computer science is taught not only in colleges but also in school. The computer is slowly replacing books as a teaching aid in schools. Next one, internet. The internet was established in the 1960 by the US Department of Defense. Gradually it became the popular electronic form for international communication. Whenever we need information on any subject, the internet will give it. The information in the internet is so much that we find it difficult to select what we need. The internet is nowadays called the information superhighway, since it is the fastest and the most efficient way of getting and sending information around the world. Searching for and getting information on a computer with internet facility is called internet browsing.